Here's the Harvey Wells transmitter once again. And this is what I've ended up with. So I've pretty much gone by their book. I was screwing around and trying to inject different parts of this power supply, the higher voltage into the 6146 final, which is an 807 basically. And that didn't work out too well. I had no modulation, but then I had the microphone plugged into the key, which wouldn't help my situation last night, so maybe that would have worked, I don't know. But anyway, I combined the power supplies, so this thing puts out a low voltage of roughly 350 when you configure it with the brown wire for the higher secondary. That's called the low voltage, which when this is used with an HW101, that would have powered all the tubes. B plus except for the finals. And then you have your high voltage, which was meant for the 6146s or whatever was in those HW101 Heathkit transceivers. So this thing has 2 voltage doublers. There's a voltage doubler here for this low voltage section, which is taking roughly a 120, 130 volt secondary and bringing it up to like, I think 350 volts. So maybe it does it by 2, I'm not sure. You get a bit of a gain when you rectify AC to DC, 1.41 or something like that. But anyway, this bridge rectifier, I simply stuffed in here, and these are the secondary leads. The red, yellow, and the red are the secondaries for the high voltage supply. And I think those were good for about 200 volts, 250 volts on the secondaries, and they would double that and rectify it and get about 800 volts DC out of it. Well, the Harvey Wells can't tolerate that kind of voltage, so I put a full-wave rectifier in here and just connected it into the capacitors here, and what I end up with roughly is about 380 volts. So this thing needs about 285 milliamperes to run. The Harvey Wells wants, the book says it wants 285 mils, which is a lot. So I simply jumped this power supply, the output, to this one here. So they're both now connected in parallel. And now that's going into the Harvey Wells. So yeah, if you take a measurement on that, let's take a look. I think it's about 380 volts or something. Let me get the meter going here. And we'll take a look at what the voltage is there. If I can get some room for the meter without it falling on the floor. You can tell I'm so organized and neat around here, right? Okay, so there we go, and let's get the measurements. So we're powered up, and it's gonna measure right here. Looking at, come on, about 385 volts. And when I key this thing up, it's putting out 25 watts, 385 volts down to, come on. It's unbelievable how I can't get connections to these wires. 363. So dropping about 20 volts, not too bad. This is drawing about 200 mils, supposedly. All right, so that's what I did. And this thing is being fed by, 6 volt filaments, yeah. There's the 6146 I adapted to running this thing. It's putting out 25 watts. I was hoping for more power, but I'm not sure how to get more power out of this thing, really. I ordered a crystal for it to see if that would help. Because I'm driving it with this little signal generator, which is probably not impedance matched at all. This is probably a low impedance device, and this is a high impedance device, so who knows? Maybe I'll get some more power out of it, but it's working for now. And like I do with everything, I'm just going to stick it on eBay just because I like to fix this stuff. This might be fun to keep, though, long term. If I'd have to buy another linear amplifier for it, because 25 watts is not respectable on AM, so I would need some more power. But the thing has great audio. So I'm going to pack it all back up and stick it on eBay for about 300 bucks and see if anybody buys this stuff. Because I've had some fun messing with it, but that's how I am. I fix things, I get them working, I display how they work, and I move on. So I'm gonna have to break the ham radio habit pretty soon, just because I gotta learn some AI stuff and I have to get back into my regular groove of software. But anyway, here we go. Here's what you see when this thing's turned on. Get about 200 mils of current there. Grid, I think they say 1 to 2 mils in the grid's good. Anyway, this is KB3W testing. And now I'm transmitting out to KFS in San Francisco. Let's turn the audio on for that. Function F1, audio up. Let's see, come on. There we go. KB3W test. Of course, I'm not dialed in here too well. There's a narrow. KB3W test on KFS. There's a little bit of audio, but not much. I don't have much signal. This is KB3W testing on KFS receiver in Half Moon Bay. This is KB3W testing reception from Half Moon Bay. And of course, somebody dumps on me. Yes, yes, I hear you. It's working, it really is. I can hear you very well. Your carrier is mighty strong. This is KB3 Whiskey Las Vegas. Anyway, that's the Harvey Wells, and you can see where the plate will dip the tube here. It's pretty cool. 25 watts roughly. If I load it, it doesn't like that a whole lot. Just drops off. This is KB3W testing into KFS. Oh, there's some modulation. This is KB3W testing into KFS in Half Moon Bay on AM. So it's got a pretty good sounding modulation when it works. Okay, and if you cut the drive on this thing, so if I entirely cut the drive from the grid, the tube will go to infinity almost here. Watch. See that? So with no drive, this thing flips out, and the plate, because there's no negative bias on the grid, I guess, it just goes nuts. I'm not sure how this works as far as having no negative bias. I tried adding some and it didn't work out very well. This power supply will supply minus bias also, but anyway, if I back this off and go to no drive, it'll start the red plate. So if I take this down to 0, I'll draw way too much power. In fact, it would be interesting to see what happens with the B plus over here when I take it down to see how much draw there is. Anyway, that's the this is the Harvey Wells. I'm gonna probably offer this on eBay and see if there's any takers on it with the power supply all dressed up and working. Now that it's been restored and it works, maybe somebody will want it. And I built this nice cable for it, so this has been expensive. This wasn't a lot of money, but probably 110 to 120 bucks for this, about 48 bucks for the cable and connectors. So 120, 40 bucks, 160. Yeah, maybe if I get $2.99 for it, I'll break even. Whatever. I sure like the thing, it's cute. All right, thanks for watching, have a great day. Yeah, I got other things I gotta do, so pack it up, stick it on eBay, and I gotta get to some other matters. Thanks for watching, have a great day.